Yay! So, okay, this is what's going on. I got free stuff in the mail, and we're gonna talk about it. Free stuff! I'm currently partnered with INFLUENSTER, which is a online thing. Anyone can sign up. It's actually really easy and fun to use, and they will send you stuff to test out and to try and to post about online. And I did that, and I did a survey, and they sent me this, so I guess I win. I'm very excited about this, though, because this is their newest luxury makeup Vox box, and it has free makeup inside that costs more than I was willing to spend. And I'm really excited. I have opened it really briefly a while back, but it's time to actually use the product, so I wanted to do it on camera so we could do a first impressions and a wear test of what is inside this Vox box. So let's go ahead and open it. They sent me the Coverfx Powerplay foundation. I believe this is the lightest shade. It says NO. I like that my shade literally says no. This is actually very small. It says 35 milliliters, so that's 1.18 fluid ounces. This, am I losing my mind? I'm actually gonna compare this to some of my other foundations because this just looks so tiny, and I know this foundation is like $40 because I love Coverfx as a brand, but they are luxury. They're up there. And they also sent, this is so cute, the perfect setting powder, which I actually wasn't expecting on getting this. I thought I was just gonna get the foundation, so I'm actually really excited to try this. I actually have this already out of box, but I haven't used it yet. I got it, I believe, in an Ulta 21 days sale, but I haven't used it yet because I need to use up other powders. But since I'm almost out of my Maybelline Fit Me, I'm gonna go ahead and open it, and I will give this to my friend who is currently using a Rimmel Stay Matte as her setting powder. And not that there's a problem with that, it's just it's literally so cracked and old that it's just little tiny balls that she keeps in her tin. It's just sad, so I'm gonna give her this. I actually do like the packaging of it. It's a plastic bottle, which I can get down with because I've been dropping stuff a lot. Ooh, we use a little fair, but you know what? I'm not mad at it, and I think it might just work. I'm talking all about all this crud, how it's small, but compared to my top foundations at this time, the Fenty Beauty foundation, this is actually one of the best foundations I believe you can purchase, and these other two, which I have been using, and these are from the drugstore, which I think are awesome options. This is the Maybelline 24-Hour Super Stay, and then lastly, the LA Girl Pro Matte. This is pretty new to the drugstore and to Ulta, and I have just been obsessed with this recently. I love the way this makes my skin look. This is not a foundation review about any of these. I just wanted to talk about them. We are going to talk about the amount that's in here. So these are all pretty decently sized bottles. They're pretty big in hand, and then compared to this one, like, it seems pretty small, right? You know? But here's where I overjudged. The Coverfx foundation has about 1.18 fluid ounces. So compared to the Fenty one, looks about like this. The Fenty one has only 1.8 fluid ounces. So you are getting more in this, which is weird, as well as with these two, which is so strange to me. I guess it's just the bottle size, you know, whatever, which are both also 1 fluid ounce of product, and this is just a little bit more than that. So my bad on judging or whatever. As you can see, I have a bunch of different shades of foundation because I never really can tell what I am, but so the shade No might just do it for me. Here's my unopened Coverfx setting powder. So this is what it looks like. This is the same one, right? Yes, this is the perfect setting powder in light translucent. So it looks like this, silver packaging. Coverfx is really basic but sleek packaging, which I can appreciate. My timer's about to run out, so it is about 3 o'clock. I know this is really late time to be putting on my makeup, but I'm about to go to work for several hours, so I want to do a wear test while I'm at work being busy and doing stuff to see how well, you know, obviously it wears. The doi. Oh, alright, so let's go ahead and zoom in so we can get a better shot. I'm so tired, dude. I'm so tired, I don't want to go to work today. I'm going to start with one of my favorite primers right now, and I've been using this a lot when I'm wearing full face, especially of matte foundations, because I feel like it just really kind of balances out my skin, because I do have combo skin and I'm never entirely sure what my foundation will look like when I put it on. So I am using the e.l.f. Prep and Hydrate stick. Is that what it's called? Yes. But usually when I'm using full face foundation, like it's gonna be caked on or it's gonna whatever be super matte, this is what I'm gonna go for, especially because this is being described as a modern matte finish. I don't know what that is or how that differs from just a regular old matte finish, but I'm not gonna take too many risks. So I am gonna use these together today. I have used this one before. I love this balm, in case anyone was curious. So I'm just gonna apply this all over my face. My brows are not done. So we're gonna take a time out and do that now. So pause on all this. So now that that is taken care of, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna start the process. So I am gonna use a sponge and a brush. Both are incredibly dirty because I don't know how to take care of myself or my makeup utensils. So I'm gonna use two affordable options because that is what my wallet says I need to do. This is the Wet n Wild Foundation Pro Brush. I don't actually know what it's called. There is a number for this. I'm gonna look it up and like put it somewhere on the screen later because I don't want to do it right now. It looks like this has a little dip in it. It's a little more expensive than I believe what they have in just their regular old pink and white brush line because these are their pro brushes. There's really, this is the Real Techniques face sponge. They also have one that's for face and body that's a lot bigger than this. So opening. Oh, you have to twist it. See, twist. It's got like a little dropper thing. I don't know what I was expecting, but this is funny to me. I'm just gonna girt out a little bit, like that much. That looks about, maybe like there. Maybe that's like one pump of regular foundation. I'm actually really not sure. I like pumps because then I know what go down. So I'm gonna put this all over this side of my face and let's see how it blends with a sponge. Okay, so. Whoa, that is light. I just wanted to be a ghost. I'm just gonna dot this everywhere. Let's go. Bro, look at me. Oh my god. Okay, so I really like the way this is blending out. That's a plus. Ooh. She is drying kind of fast. So you need to work fast because this thing is going down. My hair is getting all sorts of in my way. Wow. Okay, so that blended out pretty quickly. I feel like that was really effortless. I'm just extra blending because that's just who I am as a person. So I can still see some of my like freckles here. I definitely have a little bit of darkness here, but like this is like, it will never go away. Like I'm over it. But I do see a little bit of redness, just kind of some of my freckles. So it says weightless full coverage. Now I know I probably didn't put as much on as maybe they're considering like a you know, an average amount, just because out of pure fear of what would happen if I put what I thought was a full amount. It does feel like when I touch it like there's something on it, a little sticky, but so I'm gonna say we're probably gonna need to set this down. I always set down my foundation, but I know there's people that don't do that. I would probably set this down with the powder if I were you, because it does feel just a little bit tacky on the skin. But let's see here. Okay, I do love the way it looks though, and quite frankly this is a pretty good match for me. I always just go with the lightest shade. Let's see here. Ooh, excuse me. This does dry very fast. What is going on? Oh, my nose is running. It's definitely a lot sheerer with a sponge. And that's to be expected. I feel like typically when I use a sponge, and this is why I like to use sponges with my foundation, it all comes out a little more natural, a little more sheer, and I can see more of my own skin through. And as the summer months approach, I typically don't like to wear foundation, but if I do, I put it on with a sponge because I like to see the freckles that I get in the summertime come through. I feel like this is taking a longer time to blend out with the sponge though. I really like the way it looks. Oh, this finish is really cool. There are pros and cons to applying this foundation with either a sponge or a brush. I feel like the brush side is a lot more tacky, like it didn't necessarily blend into my skin, whereas this side, Like, there's still some tackiness to it, but it's less, I don't know, I can feel it less, if that makes sense. This side is a lot more sheer, sponge side is a lot more sheer than this side. There's definitely more coverage when you apply it with the brush. Like, I am going to add a little bit more. I'm going to add a little bit more on the sponge side. That way, it just kind of looks a little more balanced out on my face. I really, I don't know, man. I like the way this looks on my skin. I typically have some pretty strong, like, deep pores right here, and when I look in the mirror, like, they are harder to find. I feel like they're blurred out a little bit more versus with some of my other foundations, even the ones that I like a lot. Maybelline Superstay. So I'm gonna do about this, you know, on each side of my face, just to kind of see if it builds up and how that looks. So we're gonna start over here. Let's see how it builds up. You do need to work quickly with this foundation. I feel like it's drying really quickly on my skin, and it's making me nervous. But, like, especially on my forehead, I can kind of see, like, the dots where I dotted it on, that they didn't quite blend out all the way, so you do need to work quickly. But I feel like matte foundations typically, like, they dry down really fast. It blends out really quickly with a brush. One thing that I'm noticing about it is it doesn't make my under eye. I typically bring my foundation up into my under eye because I'm a psycho. I just will take whatever coverage I can get right here. It doesn't make my under eye look cakey. I feel like it just looks very natural. God, I really like this foundation. Jeez. Okay. And let's go ahead and do the other side. Ooh, it's runny. It's going down my arm. It's so strange to see the difference on my eyelids. It looks like I'm wearing some weird eyeshadow. Oh my gosh. I'm gonna stop it here. So that was 2 coats of the Coverfx Powerplay foundation. I really like the finish that it gives my skin. It does feel a little tacky. I know that's what the powder is for, but I do really like the way it makes my skin look. I feel like it is not necessarily a full coverage foundation. I don't know if I would claim it as that. I'm sure you could build it up. It definitely builds up really nicely, but I would use this more as a 1 coat thing because I think that finish was probably my favorite. I like the way it looks now with the 2 coats, and like I said, I'm sure you could build this up to any coverage that you want. That's going to take more of a review process, I believe, but I think it's really gorgeous, and I don't think you need it to be full coverage to do what you want it to do. So let's go ahead and set the face, because it's going to make me crazy if we don't do that. Before I set my face, I'm going to go ahead and put on my NARS Radiant Creamy. This has been my recent obsession, another cult classic. This is kind of expensive, my bad, but we're doing luxury, so I'm feeling bougie. Okay, so I just applied my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer, a concealer I've never had a problem with, and I'm noticing a little bit of like redness starting to peep out right here. I feel like that's not necessarily uncommon for me to kind of have a lot of extra redness in my kind of like nose area right here, but I almost feel like the foundation kind of moved away with it, if that makes sense. I'm not sure exactly how I feel about that. I'm kind of trying to fix it right now. I feel like it's fixing pretty easy. I know that sounds kind of insane. Okay, so maybe that's just my imagination because the rest of my face looks pretty good, but I feel like just like right here, my foundation just looks not correct. But I do wear glasses at work, so it might not be that noticeable, but I'm gonna put that in my red flag zone right now for this foundation. So now that everything has been put on, I'm gonna go ahead and set with the Perfect Coverfx, whatever this powder is called. Oh my god. Looks like this on the inside has a little tab. You kind of pull it off when all the powder flies out at you. Has all the powder right in here. I'm not gonna tilt it because there's some kind of like seeping out. I am gonna apply this with a brush. I'm gonna use this Real Techniques brush. I think this was limited edition, sorry. But you know what? You can use any old regular powder. You know what? Whatever. I'm just gonna use this one because it doesn't have glitter in it. Like I said, I haven't washed my brushes in a very long time. It doesn't have a lot of glitter. So I'm gonna, oops, hold on. I dipped it in and I tapped off my brush. Look at how much came off. Okay. We're just gonna gentle sweep. It's in the air. It's in the air. Okay. We're just gonna do gentle sweeps. It's all over this mirror, y'all. I'm just gonna gentle sweep it onto my face. Slowly, surely. So, a lot of product comes out. A lot of product gets on your brush. There's product in the air. Right, the face is set. I'm gonna go ahead and bronze and start baking. I'm gonna bake a little bit. I usually put loose powder under my eyes and under my bronzer to kind of cut that bronzer in half, and also to catch fallout for me doing my eyes. So we're gonna do that real quick so I can get ready to go. So I did my bronzer already, so let's go ahead. I'm gonna show you how I bake real quick. So you throw your sponge halfway across the room. I'm gonna go get that. I'm actually going to take what I have left down my nose and up here on my forehead. This is a very, very, like, it says translucent, so I don't want to call it pigmented, but there is a lot to it. Like, I feel like just dumping it in a little bit has given me so much product. So be careful with this because you could get cakey really fast, and I'm afraid that that might have been what I accidentally did with myself. I'm still going to bake, though, to make myself more cakey. Kind of like that. See, look at all that pigment. That's insane to me. That's crazy. I feel like that's so much. Woo! Okay, so now that that is taken care of, we're gonna let that sit while I do my eyeshadow, and then I'll show you guys the finished product just before I go to work. So this is currently what my skin looks like up close. You see that Omrizy highlighter? Okay. So this is just what it looks like. I feel like it looks really nice. I feel like my under eyes don't look as cakey as I thought they did at first. I think they look so much better now. So yeah, okay. So this is what I look like right now. I definitely feel like the foundation is holding up. I really like the way that it looks. I just feel like it looks so skin-like. I think the powder has definitely something to do with that. I've heard so many good things. So I'm excited to see how it wears throughout the day. I won't be able to do check-ins because I'll be at work, but I'll come back after, show you the time, and show you what my makeup looks like. And yeah, all right, I'll see y'all in several hours. So I am back, and this is what I look like. So it is about midnight. It's 11:56 right now. So I've had this foundation on for like roughly 9 hours, probably maybe a little less than that, but that's still a long time. It's probably like a full day's worth of wear. Right here on my nose, it is just completely like wiped off, and that's just straight up for me like knuckling it and like wiping my nose like that. Like this, you know, because I work with kids, so of course my nose just like immediately starts running. I'm like allergic to them, so I don't know if I would call this a creaseless foundation. Like, okay, like it didn't crease all over my face, but I definitely do have like a little bit of like puppet mouth like right here, from some smile lines. So like right here, yeah, like that's kind of, it's all sunken into that fine line, as well as just a little bit right here, but this one is really deep for me because I constantly have like a stress face like this. So it digs in right there, but that one's not as bad as this one is. This one became pretty obvious as the night went on. So yeah, I don't know. This is just the first impressions. I can't really say that it is a T-Swift love story. It's okay. I enjoyed this foundation. Would I repurchase this? Like, I don't know. Based on my first impressions alone, probably not. This is $44 for this thing. $44. Now, that's probably the most expensive foundation that I have. I don't even think my Fenty one was that much. I think my Fenty one was like $35. This one, I don't think I genuinely like love it. I don't think I love it. And maybe if I had used less and stayed with that natural finish that I had in the beginning, maybe I would have liked it more. I want to be so impressed with this, but I'm just kind of like, you know, and Coverfx is a good brand. It's definitely a durable brand. I feel like when you put their stuff on, like, it lasts through the day, and this was no exception to that. This is definitely a really good foundation. I think just for the price, I don't know, I guess I was expecting something totally life-changing, miraculous, and I think I was just kind of got a little underwhelmed. I really like this foundation. It definitely wore really well on my face throughout the day. I didn't feel like it was on my face, you know, that feeling where you're kind of like, oh my gosh, I'm like gunk face, and you can like feel it and it's tacky. I never felt that. It was very comfortable wear, even after I built it up. It definitely had a natural finish to it. I didn't feel like I was overly powdery or like too much, and it stayed. Like, I can't tell you how well this stayed, and that might all be for, you know, these two in combination, but whatever, you know what, it was awesome. And I definitely recommend this setting powder. I felt like it just locked everything in, and it made my under eyes so smooth. Like right now they're kind of covered in grit, but because I was playing in the sand, we were doing sand volleyball, but this made my under eyes feel so smooth after. I was like in my car like this. It just felt so good. This is the first time I've used it, and maybe if I continue to use it, I'll fall more and more in love with it. Because that's actually how I was with the Fenty one. Because at first I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. Oh my gosh. But I kept using it because I was like, this is expensive, and you have to use it because you're not taking it back. Because you lost the receipt. And I'm obsessed with that foundation now. So this little homie just needs a little work, I think.